Hi guys, this is RG at Astig Vegan and welcome to episode 2. And in this episode, we will be talking about easing anxiety and stress and achieving mental clarity and building our mental strength and fortitude during tough times, especially like now. And my interview is with Sara Black. She's a certified and reputable yoga and meditation instructor in Manila. She leads a community weekly meditation via the Facebook page I Go Beyond Yoga, which is free and open to the public. She also teaches daily meditation practices to paying students, but are for free for our medical frontliners, which is very nice. And, she has been doing yoga and meditation for several years now, but she told me that it wasn't until a major accident that led her to multiple bone fractures that she really went deeper with her practice and learned the power of meditation, which improved not just her mental clarity and mental strength, but ultimately lead to her healing because after 4 months, she was back to running again. So can you believe that? And so from there, she took it upon herself to share what she has learned. And that's why she teaches right now. And she also was doing talks. And that's pretty much how we first met because I was doing cooking demos in Manila and she was doing talks about building mental strength and easing mental stress through meditation and mindfulness. Here's Sara Black. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're
Of
super
course, of
busy.
course. Happy to um help people calm down.
So I want to just learn more about you. How did you get into meditation? And yeah, what was that journey for you?
Yeah, so meditation was actually introduced to me by an ex-boyfriend of mine. What
Okay.
a beautiful gift to leave someone with, right? But my practice only got deeper because I suffered a multiple hip fracture. So I was training at back in the day, five, yeah, maybe 4 years ago. But anyway, I was very heavily into endurance sports. I ran marathons. I ran the New York Marathon, and I was training to do an Ironman relay. So it's one of the difficult, yeah, triathlon races. And um, on like 2 weeks before the race, I was doing like a last training ride in Subic, which is not far from Manila. And so I train mostly with guys because most people who do endurance are guys. I didn't want to be left behind. So when it was quite hilly, the terrain, and I was having such a hard time keeping up going on the incline. But on the decline, I was like, I'm just gonna gun it. I don't want to be left behind. I'm just gonna go full. I'm not gonna break. So I just went for it. I hit a pothole and I flew off my bike.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then I hit the ground, and then this just intense zing went through my body, and I couldn't move. I couldn't move, and I was just like, I know something's broken. I just don't know what it is. So they took me to the hospital, did an X-ray, and my hip was fractured in multiple places, so I couldn't walk. Yeah, I had to learn how to walk again. And coming from this very active lifestyle, like I was running so much, swimming, biking, mountain climbing, sailing, like everything. It was so humbling for me to be commanded by the doctor, you must not move. If you move, your bones will not fuse. So it was serious. Like I had to really like do it by the book. So because I had to be in bed for like weeks on and not move, eat in the bed, pee in the bed, like everything in the bed, um there was nothing for me to do. I'm not into TV, I'm not into Netflix, so I was meditating like 5 times a day. But what was amazing was that shift that it created, that mental fortitude that it helped me come into. So I fractured my hip in July. By November, I was running again. So
Mm.
it was amazing. Like the doctors were like, how is this possible? Like you're broken in like a bunch of places. Why are you running so soon? And I'm like, it's the strength of my mind. I
Right.
don't want to do the pity party. I don't want to be in this space where I'm feeling sorry for myself. So what can I do in the present moment that will help me? So it really has meditation has that power not just to bring us into more states of calm, but then that mental fortitude that you can apply to anything, whether you're healing from an illness, you're starting a business, or you're gonna give birth to a child. Like any big endeavor, it can really give you that mental strength and clarity that you need to go forward.
How was the reception? Like, how do Filipinos in the Philippines, when they hear meditation, I know it's still a fairly new or
Yes.
a different, interesting concept. I know within my relatives, I meditate as well, but then
Yeah.
they give you the strange look, like that's some kind of sort of
Yes.
off. So how is
Mm.
it now? Do you get that kind of reaction from other Filipinos?
I think there will always be that kind of reaction. I think now, because people are really at a high level of stress, they're willing to try anything. So it's been great on these community live FB live community meditations that I've been doing every Saturday. We have almost like 3,000 people that are meditating with us, and
Wow.
it just last year it was so hard to fill a class of 10, but because the time it's so timely and it's so relevant, and people are seeking some kind of relief and release, that they're just willing to try. And then when they try, they're like, oh, okay, this feels good, I'm gonna keep coming back. So
Maybe some Filipinos would want to join in the Facebook community meditation, but they're probably shy or embarrassed, especially when they live with a lot of Filipino family members, and you know how Filipino
yeah.
households can be sometimes. They all have to share this under one roof. So what do you
Yeah,
advise them?
I actually get that a lot from my students. But if that's really a hurdle at the point, I even have some students who meditate while they're in the bathroom. So you can take your seat on the toilet, take a tall spine, close your eyes, and start breathing. And I'm sure people won't bother you there because they probably thinking you're doing number two.
Right, right.
So
And they can
and
put
they'll
on
they'll
a headset maybe.
yeah, yeah, and they'll give you your 5 to 10 minutes because you're doing your business. So that's, if privacy is an issue, then that's a place to start. And once you gain more confidence and really see the benefit of just breathing and being purely present in the moment, I think you'll be able to take it out of the bathroom scenario into your bedroom or the living room, and then invite your family. Just say, hey, I tried meditating, I feel really calm, want to try it with me? Just sit with me on the couch, just try it together. And then you might be doing them a favor too, because they might be on edge, and then suddenly there's this whole practice that they can do that helps everybody in the house be calmer.
Well, this is something that I learned, and feel free to elaborate or clarify or
Yeah.
correct me. That you can also do other forms of meditation, not necessarily just sitting still. You can incorporate mindfulness with other day-to-day
Yes.
tasks, just in case, like, okay, they're really so embarrassed or
Yeah.
whatever. Like maybe they can practice mindfulness while they're
Yes.
washing the dishes or folding the
Yeah,
dishes. So,
yeah, that's really beautiful. So just to differentiate meditation and mindfulness, strictly speaking, when we talk of meditation from originating from where it was birthed in the Himalayas, meditation is authentic stillness and silence. So we really need to be still and not be moving, and really have that internal movement only inside, not the physical body. That is how we arrive at that silence that will provide us the calm and the peace that we seek. But every moment in your life can be mindful. So while you are washing the dishes, like you said, you can inhale, exhale, and then just feel the water coming down the faucet onto the plate. Use your senses to bring you into the present moment. A lot of people exercise mindfulness while they're running.
Mm-hmm.
So that's beautiful too. So potentially any activity that's repetitive can be a mindful activity. So and you'll see that that actually brings you a lot of relaxation also, just to do something without your mind traveling in 30 different directions, just to focus on one task.
But some people, I think they are sort of haunted by worries, especially if, let's say, unfortunately, they lost their job and they're,
Yeah.
let's say, supporting their family,
Yes.
kids, and maybe they don't want to just rely on people donating. Maybe that can be unstable.
Yeah.
So, or just like what I was telling you about before, maybe it's financial stress, or maybe it's something where they're dealing with a family member who just got COVID-19, and
Yeah.
maybe something that can be dangerous and even fatal. So how do you what do you advise to them? Like, they are very valid concerns, but at the same time, how can they find their calmness?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is that if you're experiencing any anxiety or fear, the first thing you need to do is to cognize it. Where is it coming from? What is it exactly? Because if we just try to pretend it doesn't exist and we keep shoving it down or shoving it away, then it's just going to come and bite you back later on. So we really need to be honest with ourselves. Like, for instance, I have anxiety to go to the grocery because maybe somebody there might have COVID. But really deep, it's not just as simple as that anxiety. Beneath that, it's really your fear of dying. So really try to get to the root of what is making you anxious and what is making you afraid, and have that courage to face it. Like, why am I afraid of dying? So you would have to come into contact with what are your doubts about your spirituality. It can get really deep, and for you to be able to transcend your fear, you have to just have that courage to face it. So one is to cognize really what is going on, and not just to keep shoving it away because it comes back. And then the other thing would be to just exercise kindness to yourself. Like, okay, you're afraid. I cognize my fears. I'm afraid of dying. And not to judge yourself. Like, I shouldn't be afraid. I shouldn't be anxious. Like, that's going to make you more anxious.
Right.
Show compassion towards your fears. Like, listen to them, acknowledge that they're there. Make them feel heard and seen, and really tell yourself that it's okay to be afraid. You don't have to put another stressful layer on top of it by saying, I shouldn't be afraid, this is so annoying, why am I anxious, it's so ridiculous. Like, that just exacerbates it more than necessary. So fear is your that fear of the uncertain. Something is going to happen in the future and you don't have control over it. There's no certainty. You're afraid you're gonna die. You're afraid your business is gonna collapse. You're afraid of something that is impending in the future that actually hasn't happened yet. And the way to relax the fear is to bring yourself into the present moment. What state of being do you need to be now so that the future meets you where you're at? So now, if for instance I choose to, okay, I'm afraid, I'm stewing my fear day in and day out, all I'm thinking about is how the whole world is collapsing, it's doomsday, that future is gonna meet you because your thoughts are circulating doom, 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 doom. That future is gonna meet you because that's how powerful your mind is. You create the life that you have, that you will flow into. So we have to be so strict with what we allow in our mind. If you reach for a better thought, reach for a happier thought, it feels better. So if you try to see the silver lining in each situation instead of focusing on what is bad, then, and you keep shifting your mind into a positive state, then that positive future is going to meet you.
unconsciously we have all these chatter in our minds, and that
Yeah.
we have to really catch what we tell ourselves, what we
Yeah.
think. We just um, we don't even catch them. We just let them um, dominate us, and then somehow it shapes how we think.
So it's really difficult for people to just cognize a thought without a practice. When we sit in meditation day in and day out, so what happens is you're sitting and with your eyes closed and you're breathing, right? And your attention is directed inwards. When a thought comes, you acknowledge that it's there. Okay, thought, I see you. You're not relevant now. I'm going to let you flow onto the other side. And the more practice that you do that on a daily basis, you can do it in a wakeful state. So your ability to cognize what is a relevant thought becomes so quick when you have a regular meditation practice, because you can see already right away, okay, that thought is not helping me in this moment. I need to park that on the side. I will attend to you when you are relevant. Or that thought is just plain negative. I'm just going to let you flow. And then spontaneously in the moment how to go forward. So it's not easy. Sometimes it's not as mechanical as like I'm gonna give you a step 1 to 10 of how to cognize your thoughts and then you just do it. It's like going to the gym. The more you work out your muscles, the stronger you get, and the more the ability you have to carry heavy weight. So it's exactly the same thing with your mental health. The more you work with that mental space and your ability to push those heavy thoughts aside, you can do it with more and more ease.
That's a great analogy with the physical workout. I think
Mm-hmm.
just because, with the only thing is with physical workout, it's more visible. They see the
Yes.
results. But with mental workout, sometimes they tend to underestimate the practice.
Yes, but you can see that it's working when you're faced with a stressful situation, because it's like, that was really stressful, but then I'm not stressed.
Right, right.
So when push comes to shove, all your mental exercises will just play out beautifully. So yeah.
Right.
And it's applicable not just to COVID. Like, life will always be stressful. There's always going to be something that's coming at you a mile a minute. There's fires that you need to put out at work. There's children that need to be attended to. There's other things. There's so many things. So calmness is gold at any time, or now or tomorrow or 10 years from now. So it's definitely worth the time and investment to just sit with yourself daily, 5, 10, 20 minutes, and then you'll see how much it flowers into the rest of your life.
Right. So for people who want to do that, to practice more, what's your advice to newbies? Yeah, how often and
The
how long
so
they should do it?
the easiest point of entry would be for you to download an app. So very accessible. There's a lot of cool apps that are free or have a free 7-day trial. Get onto that. The apps are mostly guided meditations though. So what happens, and you could also find on Spotify or YouTube, you would just be listening to the person talking the whole time. So that's a really good entry point because you have the adequate amount of guidance for somebody to lead you into the calm. Once that gets more familiar with you, I would suggest for you to find a teacher, because that listening to a guided app will only get you so far. At some point, you're going to plateau and you're not going to be able to really discover that whole expanse that is waiting for you, that internal mental landscape that is waiting for you. You'll be able to uncover more peace with deeper techniques. So there's a lot of different kinds of meditation. Different teachers will have different kinds of techniques that they will teach you, but definitely they will be more valuable than just listening to an app. But don't get ahead of yourself, since you
Right.
won't be able to find any teacher now. Download an app, go to Spotify or go to YouTube, do something, start now. the thing is not to wait.
For newbies, they don't
Yes.
get ahead of themselves.
Yeah.
There's this big misconception. Well, one example was for my cousin. He told me, oh, I met someone and he meditates for 3 hours. So he thought that was meditation. Like you have to allot 3 hours.
Yeah, no, it can be like 3 to 5 minutes if that's where you're at. So for me, my advice is start now and baby steps. Don't think that you have to be some guru in a cave to reach, you're trying to be Buddha. Like, no, let's not even go there. Let's just try to get some calm. That's it. Start with 3 minutes a day if that's all you have. And then really try to be honest with yourself. Were those 3 minutes of value? If they were, then keep adding. Make it 4 minutes, make it 5 minutes, make it 6 minutes. So it's just important to start wherever you're at and be consistent with it. So it's not a magic bullet. It's not like you meditated for 20 minutes once and then forever world peace. Like, no, it's a daily thing. And if you slack off at some point, you'll feel it. It'll be harder to go in again. So daily is better. I mean, it's the same thing like working out. If you stop going to the gym for 2 months, like when you go back, like, boy, it's hard, right? And then your muscles also are weaker. So it's exactly the same thing.
Before we wrap things up, do you have any final advice? Something that I may have left out. Yeah.
It's all gonna be okay. I know that sometimes we can get wrapped up in our worries and our fears and our doubts. But really, you've probably gone through as difficult time as this already in your life. And this is just something else that we can use to make us grow. There's always, I don't think things happen by accident. And we really need to be able to pinpoint why this is happening and why it's valuable for us. And I really think that we can use this situation, this global situation, to create a collective shift in how we are as human beings. We connect more with people, we're more loving, we're more ready to help people in need. So let's focus on those things. There's a lot of beautiful things for us to learn from this time.
Thank you so much. How else can we connect with you? So you have, can you tell us more about the community meditation, your online classes?
Okay, so if you are on Instagram, you can follow me at See the Light, Be the Light, and you will get all the updates of what I'm currently up to now. If you would like to try one of my community meditations, you would log on to I Go Beyond Yoga FB page, and there will be live meditations there every Saturday, 6 p.m. Philippine time. I don't know what time that is in the West Coast. Probably in the morning, no?
Yeah.
It might be too early, but anyway, all the live sessions
can be recorded too, right?
Yeah, they're recorded, and then you would just go to I Go Beyond Yoga and then just type in meditation with Sara, and all the classes I've done so far will be there. Yes, and then we also just launched a podcast smack in the middle of this COVID situation, which is really intended to help people come into deeper states of calm. So the podcast is called From Me to We. You can find it on Spotify. So yeah, and then everything else, just watch out for updates on Instagram.
Thank you once again. I learned so much. I'm going to keep on practicing and strengthening my mental fortitude. I think this is a great time to do it. So, yes, thank you once again. Take care always.
Thank you for having me. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it's so inspiring, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will find it inspiring as well.
Thanks, everyone.